What's up guys, Justin here with the RenderingEssentials.com, back with another Lumion tutorial for you. So in today's video we're going to talk about how to export a panoramic image from inside of Lumion. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to find a location inside of this model in order to create a 360 degree panoramic image. And so that's going to be an image that you can click and drag and kind of move around inside of your rendering. So what we're going to do in order to do that is there's actually a button down here for 360 degree panorama. And so when you click on that, there's a few things that you're going to need to do. And we'll go ahead and we'll trash this first image just so we can kind of walk through what we need to do in order to create this. And so what we're going to do first is this works in pretty much the same way that creating an image does or a photo does inside of Lumion. And so what that means is that we need to either create a style or add effects, because you can't use styles for panoramas. So we need to add effects to this in order to create the image that we want. And so I find the easiest way to do this is if I already have image presets in here, I can do that. I think you can also copy and paste effects. So if you had some image effects over in your image, you can probably copy and paste those over. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this menu and go to File, and I'm just going to load my effects file. And I will link to the video where we created these effects previously, but we're just going to load these effects. So we're going to find the one that we like. So for me, I use this realistic shadows for YouTube all the time, and what that does is that's going to bring in all of your different images, or that's going to bring in all of your different settings for your shadows and your sun and all of those different things. And so now you can see how that's all in here and being shown inside of our preview pane. And so once we've done that, we can go ahead and click on the button for Store Panorama. And so you can store multiple panoramas, by the way. So if you wanted to create like an interior one, like maybe right here, you could add a new panorama. Notice that the effects, for whatever reason, don't copy over, so you might just do an edit, copy, edit, paste, or something like that, and then you can have multiple different panoramas in here. So we're going to take this panorama, and now what we're going to do is we're going to render this. We're going to render a 360 degree panorama from this image. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this button to render. And what that's going to do is that's going to pop up a window with a couple different options. So your 360 degree panorama, you're going to set this based on this tab right here. So you can set your output quality, you can set if this is a 3D image or a flat image, as well as if you want this to be just for like a generic device, this will create kind of the flat image that can be loaded into a panorama loading software, or you can also export that for a Gear VR or an Oculus. For right now, what we want to do is we want to target a generic device, and so when we do that, we can go ahead and click on the render button in order to render that out. And so what that's going to do is that's going to come in here and that's going to render all of the different images that need to be kind of stitched together in order to create this effect. So you can see how this is giving us that panoramic image view that then we could load into a panorama viewer or something like that. And so now if we open this folder and we look at the file that this is exported, so if I double click on this, you can see how that actually created a panoramic image that you can then load into a viewer. So if you don't feel like figuring that piece out, the actual loading piece, there's another option in here, and we can go ahead and try this right here for my second image. So when we click on render for panoramic image, you can click on this button for My Lumion. And so if you select the option for My Lumion, what that's going to allow you to do is that's going to allow you to create a rendering and also email it to somebody if you want to do that. But you can title it, and then once you kind of get the way that you once you kind of get your settings the way that you want, you can click render and upload to My Lumion. And so what that'll do is that'll render this out, and that'll actually upload this to Lumion's online viewer. So their viewer is going to allow you to view this without you having to figure out the different without having to figure out a different external viewer for a panorama file. This will be embedded in a website, and you can email it to people, and they can just kind of fly through it themselves. So this is going to go through, and this is going to render all this, and then it's going to upload this, which can always be interesting on my internet connection. So while this while this uploads, I'm going to show you the other one that I already did for my exterior. So you can see how, if I was to go full screen with this, this is actually a 360-degree rendered panorama image based on our camera location. And you can see how this looks really good, especially with our shadows function. There might be a little bit that we might want to do with these spots right here, but overall I think this looks really good and really realistic. And this is something that you could send to a client or something like that in order to really kind of let them fly around and really get a feel for what something might look like. All right, so it says our upload is complete. So if you click on this link is going to go to Lumion's website, and this is going to be the interior image that we just rendered. So it's going to take a second to load, but you can see how you have a 360-degree panoramic view of where your rendering was set up. So I would say this is a really great tool for kind of showing off your designs without just using still images or having to create big video files. So it's pretty easy to use once you have an idea of how the My Lumion works, and also to export those images if you want those instead. So that's where I'm going to end this video. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. Do you find this helpful? Do you use panoramas? I'm interested to see how you kind of work that into your daily workflow. If you like this video, please remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button for new rendering content every week. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.